My understanding of the Constitution of India, Article 324 and the subsequent articles, have intended that the Election Commission should be truly independent. Today you can see across the world, as you read the papers this morning, you can see in Ivory Coast, you can see in Haiti, you can see in various places, the absence of independent election commissions causing havoc to democracies. Our founding fathers in the Constitution wanted the Election Commission to be a truly independent body. Unfortunately, as happens in many things in this country, design and theory is one, practice is another. One of my distinguished predecessors wrote to government and said he wanted sanction of 30 rupees to buy a book. That was the autonomy of the Election Commission. The Election Commission was treated as somewhat of a sidekick of the government. I still remember when I was Cabinet Secretary, the Prime Minister rings me up and says, "Seshan, tell the Chief Election Commissioner that we want the election on so and so, so and so." I told him, I said, "Sir, it is not for us to tell the Election Commission this, it's for us to say we are ready for the election. But the responsibility for fixing up the schedule for the election is squarely and completely that of the Election Commission." I'll give you several instances. The Chief Election Commissioner used to go and wait outside the room of the Law Minister, waiting for his convenience to be called in. I said, "I will never do this. I am available at any time, but on condition that the office is treated with respect." In all papers they used to write Chief Election Commissioner, Government of India. I said, "Sorry, I am not part of the Government of India. I am part of the structure of this country, but I am not part of the Government of India." Ministers used to send notes. Between one department and another in government, there is a method of sending a piece of paper called a UO note. It's called an unofficial note. I used to get a UO note from various ministers saying, "Do this, don't do that." I used to send them back politely and said, "Don't send me UO notes. I am not part of your government." So it took considerable effort to satisfy or bring home to government that the Election Commission was of the government, but part of the government, but not under the government. Certainly, people used to ask, "To whom do you report?" "I report to the President, I report to the Prime Minister, I report to the Law Minister." Similarly, I am subject, as Chief Election Commissioner is of course directly answerable to the President of India, but not in the sense of being a subordinate like the rest of the government is. So, establishing the independence of the Election Commission was one part of the whole story. Other thing was that the people did not understand the beauty of the language of the Constitution. The section of the Act says the President shall, on the date specified by the Election Commission, issue the notification. And through the years, elections had become a joke. Elections had become big tamashas, elections had become rowdy, elections had become all kinds of things. There was a joke called the limit on election expenses. When I was Chief Election Commissioner, the limit of election expenses for a parliament seat, Lok Sabha seat, mind you, was 1.5 lakhs. Now you can't send a postcard to each voter with 1.5 lakhs of rupees because there are more than 1 million voters in each constituency. You can't send a postcard. I asked the government to raise it. In a rare moment, Mrs. Gandhi in 1975 went and got the law amended to say that the expenses incurred by party and friends need not be included in this limit. Therefore, people used to spend money, and I spent crores of rupees. I asked the candidate, "Where did you spend the money?" He said, "I didn't spend it, the party spent it." Then there was a thing called the Code of Conduct. It had become a joke. The Code of Conduct was not written by me. Code of Conduct was written 15, 20 years before I ever came into the Election Commission. I only issued a reprint of the book with the forward saying, "Here is a reprint of the book, please read it and follow it." It said very ordinary things. He said, "You shall not abuse the rival candidate's father and grandfather. You shall not misuse religion. You shall not misuse money. You shall not misuse government facilities." Things which are fairly obvious. But I said the Code of Conduct will be implemented in letter and spirit. So we did devise ways and means of doing it. We got, for example, election observers for the first time in such large numbers. Senior officers of the rank of Joint Secretary to Government of India were made observers in each constituency. Misuse of government facilities was rampant. Staff cars and aircraft and guest houses and whatnot. The guest house would be available only to the government party and its people, not to the opposition. So I said no. It should be available equally to both sides. Government cars cannot be used during election time. Government aircraft shall not be used during election time. Establishing the financial independence, establishing the physical independence of the Election Commission, code of conduct, law, expenses. Across the board we tried all kinds of changes to the election law.